All right, guys, one more day and we can finally get rich and quit our jobs. We'll never have to flip another burger again. Before we get into it, I just wanted to say I've been seeing these numbers tick up a little bit finally over the past couple of weeks, and I want to welcome everybody to the channel. We got more than 4,000 people in here, and you guys look like this. These are all crowds of 4,000 people, and in my opinion, you guys look like you're ready to make life-changing money. Let me know down in the comments if I'm right. Today we've got Bitcoin still sitting just under $47,000 at about $46,823 at the time of recording, and it does look like we might be reaching this level of resistance that unfortunately we've actually been bouncing off of for a few years now. It's been resistance the whole time so far in the beginning of this bull market for all of 2023, but as you can see, before we actually flipped below it, it was support here in the end of the previous bear market. And back here in the crash of 2020 during the Black Swan event, it actually acted as support back then as well. And going back as far as way back here in 2015, we've been interacting with this trend line. So I think that if we actually break above it here in the next couple of days or weeks, this is going to be the most bullish thing that's happened to Bitcoin in years, and it's going to send Bitcoin on a parabolic movement, which will hopefully change all of our lives forever. This is a very significant resistance line, though, as you can see, and a lot of people are expecting that we're going to see a bit of a sell-off after the approval actually happens. And I have been talking about how we have this bearish divergence that's starting to show up here on the daily chart. But whenever the bull market really gets going, a lot of times technical analysis like this doesn't always play out, and we might actually blow right through these bearish divergences and this resistance line, making a higher high and going up to all-time highs before anybody expects us to. But in my opinion, it just seems responsible to mention that we probably do have a little bit of a resistance line here that we have to contend with, and it could even send us all the way back down here to the other side of this parallel channel that we've been trading within for the past year or so. Not to mention, we still have that CME gap down here, which is roughly at this red line around $37,000. It's a little early to speculate, but a lot of people are expecting the Fed to actually do a rate cut in their next meeting, not the one here in January, but the one in March. And if we actually go down from a sell the news event on the Blackrock ETF approval, maybe we'll just cool off until the Fed actually lowers those interest rates, and that'll be another catalyst sending us to the upside, and that'll coincidentally actually line up probably around the same time as the halving is also happening as well. All of these catalysts together is probably going to see us having a great year, but don't forget that there is going to probably be some kind of cool-offs at some point because nothing goes up in a straight line forever. 20 to 30% is usually about what we're going to see during the most parabolic parts of the bull markets, and the retracements might not last long, but 20% is pretty average, which is also coincidentally lining up almost perfectly with this red line right here. So I wouldn't be surprised if we eventually come down here to find support there. If we do break above this trend line, which is indicated by this white line, then all bets are off. And like I said, we could be at all-time highs before anybody's expecting us to be. It just matters how much money actually flows in from these ETFs when they are approved. One other indicator that could be sending us to the upside breaking through that white line is the inverse Kramer signal. About a week ago, he said that Bitcoin couldn't be stopped right before we saw about a 10% decline. And now he had this to say, so let me know what you think in the comments.
Comparison to another stock. We got Riot Platforms and Marathon Digital.
What are we doing with these? Let's stop fooling around. If you want Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin's topping out, by the way. So I'm going to say enough is enough and ka-ching is ka-ching.
He says the price of Bitcoin is topping out, and I'm not sure if he's talking about because of the hype around the ETF and if it's just a short-term top, or if he thinks that it's actually topping out for the top of the bull market or something like that. But either way, I'm pretty sure that right after he said that, we had a jump up to about $47,000. And really, this man is just undefeated because every time he comes out and says that something is going to happen, the exact opposite happens. And if you just watch him all day, you might make a whole lot of money and you don't even need to watch anybody else. So what are you doing here anymore? According to this article on CoinDesk, Blackrock, Van Eck, and others have updated their Bitcoin ETF filings within just hours of a quick SEC response. I thought that all of the final application updates were due on the 29th of last month, but I guess among those applications there was still some more information needed, So Gary Gensler's still working with the people who actually made it through that deadline. And now hopefully they're just wrapping things up and getting ready for the ultimate launch tomorrow. We could be in for a wild ride, and these ETFs might break records because, as I showed you on this same article just a couple days ago, the ProShares Bitcoin Strategy Exchange Traded Fund, or BITO, saw the highest ever first day of natural trading volume for an exchange traded fund, with the figure reaching a little over 1 billion by the end of the opening day. It was only second overall, tailing just behind the Blackrock US Carbon Transition Readiness ETF, which booked $1.16 billion in volume on its debut in April. Bitcoin has already had record-breaking ETFs in the space, and we haven't even gotten a spot one yet. Not to mention, these only had just about $1 billion put into them by the end of the opening day. But now we've got BlackRock announcing that they're lining up $2 billion in capital for their Bitcoin ETF, and it hasn't even started trading yet. So if BlackRock alone just puts this $2 billion in and nothing else happens, then it's already going to be breaking records. And with BlackRock having more than $9 trillion in assets under management, I think this is just the tip of the iceberg. And when they start to see the profits that they're making, this is going to be just the beginning as they start to pour more billions and billions of dollars into the space, and people rush in to try to get their hands on the last Bitcoin because there's just not going to be enough for everybody to get their hands on some at a reasonable price. Finally, here we have an article by The Block that says VanEck CEO says its spot Bitcoin ETF should start trading on Thursday. There's been a lot of speculation that one of the reasons why we're going to see a sell the news situation is because after the approval actually happens, it's probably going to be a couple weeks or maybe even months until one of these things starts to trade. And if the CEO of VanEck is actually correct and we get the application approved on Wednesday and then it starts trading on Thursday, there's probably not even going to be time for a retracement. And once billions of dollars start pouring into the actual price of Bitcoin, it seems like the only way we can go is up. And here's a bonus piece of news. According to this article on CoinDesk, City alumni founded startup to offer Bitcoin securities that don't need green light from a SEC. It says Receipts Depository Corp aims to address the institutional desire for Bitcoin investments that may not be satisfied by a spot ETF. It says the RDC will offer depository receipts similar to American depository receipts that represent foreign stocks on U.S. equity exchanges. The BTC DRs will be offered to institutions and cleared through the Depository Trust Company, according to a press release on Thursday. It says the offering will start in coming weeks, and it'll provide direct ownership of underlying assets and easy inclusion into the institutional products. Whereas shares of Bitcoin ETFs would be redeemed for cash, depository receipts would offer direct ownership of Bitcoin. And I'm not sure what kind of institutions they're trying to offer these to or who's actually interested in them, but this seems almost as bullish as the Bitcoin ETFs, but no one's even talking about it. Especially because it's going to offer direct ownership of Bitcoin. This is going to be just another way that trillions of dollars can pour into the space, and I think we're going to be seeing more offers like this and new ways that people are going to discover to get invested in cryptocurrency as cryptocurrency technology goes mainstream and retail investors and institutions alike panic to get in any way that they possibly can. Finally, I forgot to mention that we also have CPI coming out on Thursday, and while the ETF news might actually overpower and overshadow this CPI data coming out, it is going to be significant. And I think a lot of people are going to be looking forward to what this data is going to say so that we might get some confirmation that the Fed could maybe even do a rate cut as early as March. Let me know in the comments, do you guys think we're actually going to get these ETFs approved tomorrow? And if so, do you think we're going to dump until they actually start trading? Or do you think that it's going to trigger a whole bunch of FOMO and it's only uphill from here? Either way, thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. But most importantly, don't forget to have a wonderful day. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.